Yeah, I think the Rhyme is very surprising to be allowed on A side. Rhyme Kestrel, a great combination. It works well together, and so you tend to be able to get that on A side, but in a very different way to what we normally see. You normally see Rhyme first pick and Kestrel last pick, but it has worked out, and we're seeing a Samuel. So Vox and Samuel don't have the best synergy together with a Lance. Lance, a very engaged style hero, whereas Vox and Samuel much more about disengage and poking and kiting away. I like the Kestrel and the Rhyme combination together. I think Divine Aurora have got a really good draft here, but it's going to be down to whether Elite 8 can execute this Samuel well.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I do prefer the Rhyme and Kestrel alongside that, the Arden, as opposed to the Lance, Vox, and Samuel team comp coming out. Because you mentioned the fact that Lance doesn't have too much synergy with that of the Vox and the Samuel, as they're both fairly squishy heroes, and he's got nothing to provide. In fact, of if you were playing that either a Lyra or Arden, you could at least provide sustain or shielding to your teammates.
Yeah, I think that the Ardent is definitely better than Lance in the kind of compositions that we have got in this game. Yes, Rhyme is all about getting in your face and just killing you. And really, what can Lance do against that? If Lance is standing next to Rhyme, he can give you a wall, and that's it. You can't land an impale unless Rhyme is far away from Lance. And if Rhyme's far away from Lance, then they pretty much won the fight anyway. You don't need that impale as an engage. You just need to outpoke Rhyme. So yeah, Arden, the gauntlet will be really useful if you can trap them inside. You don't even need to land a stun onto Kestrel or onto Samuel. Just trap them inside the gauntlet, and then you force either a reflex block to get out, or Rhyme's going to kill you. So it should be a reasonably easy comp for Divine Aurora to execute to win this game.
Yeah, and we'll just have to see, as you mentioned, it really does come down to how they execute, because they both have win conditions here. Even if we have a favored team comp already just decided by that, I think for Rhyme pickup, we talked about being so strong and being allowed to get over all the way through second bans and then on to A side is quite surprising in the double ban draft. So we will see these two teams go head to head, and what I'd like to see if Elite 8 are going to have a win in their favor is this Lance hitting those impales, is the breaking point stacks getting built up on the Vox, because we know Vox still a very strong hero, a very strong laner in this current update that they're playing on. And I think Samuel's always just Samuel. He's been in a all right place for quite a few patches, and he can just backline with a lot of burst damage, and that early power spike he gets, if they can take advantage of that as well, would be quite nice to see them put some pressure up in that lane on the Kestrel.
Samuel has got a very good playstyle against Rhyme. You should be able to outpoke Rhyme very simply. You should be able to keep your range, but if you, for example, farming your jungle, you get your healing camp and then rotate into a bush where Rhyme is waiting for you, you're pretty much dead. Yes, you can try and boots away, but he can boots to keep up. He has his chill wins to root you in place, and the level 2 power spike is countered by Rhyme fighting you. Because if Rhyme lets you get that, get the drifting dark forwards and get a couple of Malice and Verdicts out of it, then Samuel's going to win. But if Rhyme just runs towards you and forces you to run away in the opposite direction to your drifting dark, then Rhyme can certainly win the level 2 fight over this Elder Trio.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see how that goes out and whether either team is going to show a bit more aggression in that comp, because I think for the side of Divine Aurora, they can almost play a bit more passive in a sense and just farm up, but you do have to worry about that Vox in the late game. I think if he's left unchecked will be quite a threat to deal with.
Yeah, I think the early game could be won by both teams because, as you said, Samuel, strong level 2 power spike, so does Rhyme. And the late game, it will be very, very much down to how the fights are executed. If poke is allowed from both teams, it will be won by Elite 8. If the engage comes through first from Divine Aurora, then they will win the fight. But we're going to have to wait and see how it's going to work out, whether we're going to see aggression from Divine Aurora, whether Elite 8 are going to counter that with their own aggression, if Vox will be allowed to build up breaking point stacks. Because I do agree with you that if Vox is in the fight for a very long time without Rhyme being able to jump on him, then it's not going to be too tough for that Vox to pretty much 1 versus 3 at the end of the fight, because Rhyme will be out of energy near the end of the fight. Vox doesn't need energy. He'll have built up his breaking point stacks, and we're going to have to see if Vox can do that. We are now loading into the Halcyon Fold for the first game of this third series, and so casting alongside yourself, Iroquois, we're going to bring in Luxuria.
Hello, and Diva going up against Elite 8. Elite 8 definitely trying and will try their best to just climb into the third place spot, just to fight out against that of J3X Inferno, or sorry, Brand Esports. But now, as you guys have mentioned already, very good spike for Official High on that Samuel. Only issue is just down to execution and down to who actually starts the fight first. Spitfire very sneaky with the early game front cam steal, but they will just back off. And I must agree with you guys. I mean, I must agree with Desk. The side of Diva, they just look so much stronger coming into this game. Their draft is so much better as well, and execution is so much easier.
Yep, and it looks like Anime Save Me going to get caught out and punished for trying to steal that one healing camp away with the Impale, and that's just something we'll have to look out for in general team fights, whether they're able to punish Anime Save Me. I know many might have brought up the point that as long as Rhyme is standing right next to them, there's not too much that they can do on that Lance going up into the Rhyme, so it will be tough for them to find the correct engagements. Also, if you miss that Impale, there's just so much damage coming at you. There's the Winter Spires, the fact of the Glimmer shots all going to your face, and I think it will be tough until he's quite tankier in the late game. Even then, I would still be worried, and they have to be careful on their engagements that rely so heavily on following up on the Impale. But we do see Spitfire might be able to steal this one away. Did get hit by those resonance bounces, and it looks like, I think he got it. Yes, he is able to get the outer camp for himself and back out of there with the help from Majin. So thanks to Elite 8 for leashing that one for him, and Hanyega's just going to return back up to lane here. We saw an early back going on from Neon C to pick up that heavy steal alongside what I believe they already would have had for Weapon Blade.
Yep, but Han Jaeger just deciding to play a little more passive this time round, actually picking up the armor, the tier 1 armor for himself, just to sustain against Neon C alongside that book of eulogies as well. So very good counter building coming into this early game, going up against a high burst hero like that of Castro. But Margin now will get stunned out by Githin Wall, but both teams will reset. But Spitfire, once again, with the sneaky plays, going into the backs, going to take. Oh ho.
Okay, well, he gets it, but you can see it's a 2v2 situation anyway, and Spitfire going to punish the Lance, going onto him with the Chilled Winds, ruin him down, and gain the kill off the back of that Winter Spire. And they just do so much damage early on, and it's the fact that I said Lance cannot take up all of it. He really can't body block it. The correct playstyle for the side of Elite 8 will be that of finding the right engages as a team. And I think that is so crucial. It's why I said to Minimiter in the draft phase that I think Divine Aurora have the better team comp, but Elite 8 do have a chance into the late game to really pull it back, but they need to play a bit safer in the early game, because already giving over 2 kills onto that Lance, I'm not too sure about it. Of course, kills don't mean too much in the early game in terms of gold, but Spitfire seems to have the confidence now to just roam into the enemy jungle whenever he likes anyway.
Yeah, I mean, kills do not quite matter. If, it really just depends on who you're giving that kill, those kills over to. Even looking at, maybe I may have to hold, but they will just reset. But just looking at how the aggression coming through from Elite 8, they are putting a lot of pressure and emphasis in that of lane. But Rhyme excels in, generally in very tight spaces of team fights. And if you're just gonna allow a Rhyme to just go through your jungle,
however, we see a lot of damage coming out from the side of Official Hein with that drifting dark into the Empowered Malice and Verdicts, but look at that, the response from Kestrel is big and banging with those Glimmer shots, although both teams going to kind of back off from this fight now, as neither team want to hand over any more early kills, because the more we get towards the mid-game, it will be that these kills mean a lot more. You can give up objectives a lot easier just because you're not in the lane per se, or you're not in your jungle, and can result in easy rotations from the enemy team. However, there's a good rotation coming up from Spitfire to the lane. He will get pushed back by the Githian wall and caught in the Impale, but should be able to back out there fairly unharmed.
I mean, I do understand, where Elite 8 is coming from, just trying to push lane out against this Castro. But the issue is trying to push lane against Neon C on this Castro is that she clears lane relatively fast, much, much faster than Han Jaeger, if need be. And D.Va is just responding relatively well as well, although Official Hind has been coming up to lane to just try to put on pressure, like you mentioned earlier on when they are desking. The Official Hind should just do that because there is no way, and it will be quite difficult actually, there's no way to win a fight against Spitfire on that Ryan, but this first kill turret though.
Yep, taking a lot of damage early on thanks to Official Hind helping out the rest of his team. And right now, it's quite difficult for Divine Aurora to get onto anyone when all three of them are up there in the lane together. So they're risking some early farm being given away.
Yep, will get spotted out, but all will be fine and dandy. Imagine though, very, very low. Another fight may just be breaking out at this point. Impale misses.
Oh, possibly. Looks like a bit poke between both teams. The fountain being used on the side of Divine Aurora. And Elite 8 overall seem to be winning out this fight. That carries a lot more healthier, but there's some damage coming across the board from Neon C onto Official Hind. Official Hind putting down the Drifting Dark Vega, looking for the objective. They find the Tier 1 turret. There's going to be the Valkyrie onto Official Hind, but Spitfire needs to be careful of Han Jaegers, who's kind of around them, picking up the kill onto the Kestrel and onto the Rhyme. And there goes the Arden, the ace for Elite 8. They pick them off one after the other, and really turning it around after that first objective, going to be able to get the gold mine after the fact, and really pushing that lead within just a few minutes, few seconds in fact.
Yep, and although in the early part of the game, right, pre 5 minutes, the early game, the lane pressure coming through from the side of Elite 8 isn't quite paying off for them. But coming into, this 8 minute, 9 minutes, when you see Official Hind already having that Eve of Harvest, probably building into a Frostburn, the very traditional, Samuel built one shot, one kill, lands on Han Jaeger, but not a lot of damage. Gauntlet drop.
It's going to be the Gauntlet, gets blocked, wait for it, comes through onto that Rhyme, and Official Hind just hiding back in that Drifting Dark, putting the Malice and Verdict shots down. Looks like that healing camp will be stolen away from Spitfire as they back out of that fight. So now they could look for a turret of their own. They have the damage there as long as they can push this minion wave up quick enough. But you can see Anime Save Me already rotating to the lane, and the wave is not there yet. So the rest of Elite 8 also able to follow suit, but so much burst damage going down onto Official Hind. He needs to be careful. I would not walk anywhere near that bush as long as Rhyme is in it. Those Winter Spires, although the range increased in the new patch, they still had a lot previously, and we're going to see that here as he goes on to Han Jaegers. Missed the Valkyrie prediction, but Oblivion going to put that of Majin to sleep on the Arden, and now the fight could be in favor of Elite 8 as Vox building up those stacks, taking out the Arden, taking out the Kestrel. And as you said, there's a lot more punishment to the Roams who are just standing out on the front line, getting caught out.
Yep, Ryan will be able to get away safely, and the second tier turret for the side of D.Va will fall and be shredded to pieces by the side of Elite 8. They are steadily and surely growing the gold lead over the side of D.Va, and honestly in that team fight itself, we've seen Rhyme going up against Voxes before, and it's always a very difficult matchup for Rhyme because he's just so very slow. It's difficult for him to just stick on to Vox, and even Samuel, basically the dancing comp. What Elite 8 right now is trying to execute is just trying to dance around this Lance. Lance is providing very good peel, although more often than not, we do see Anime Save Me just getting really, really low because of mispositioning, off positioning. But in the late game team fights, when in the mid game, coming into this mid game, mid-late game at least, it is definitely paying off for the side of Elite 8 because of the amount of sustained damage coming through from Samuel and Vox is just so much more than the burst from the side of D.Va.
Yep, and we will see Elite 8 pushing the side of D.Va away back towards their base. And if they can hold this ground, they might be able to rotate to a gold mine and quickly try to take that away, which I wouldn't be surprised if we see them do now. Anime Save Me surely heading over there with the Impale. And it doesn't really look like the side of Divas in any condition to contest this one. And you can really see once Elite 8 were able to find their ground, find the aggression they needed to play their comp correctly, they've started to have a lot more success in these team fights. But with Rhyme coming up to the gold mine, could be an easy steal. Valkyrie going in, but Vox manages to secure it. Anime did get caught out in the Valkyrie by diving onto the camp, however, and there's going to be Oblivion just zoning out the rest of Divas while they push them back slowly but surely, and Elite 8 slowly winning out this fight.
Yep. Slowly winning out the fight, but that trend was secured by the side of Diva. One shot, one kill comes up, lands on Han Jaeger.
Ooh, Han Jaeger's taking a lot of damage from those glimmer shots there, and as well the Crystal Sentry need to be careful. And now Elite 8s, they realize they've overstayed their welcome, will back out. Anime Save Me fairly low, and you can see Han Jaeger's already making that port back to base, but I think Official Hein with that Drifting Dark will be enough to keep the lane safe and secure for now. We do see that of Spitfire taking advantage of that opportunity though to go into Samuel's jungle and steal some farm away, as he is sitting on 52 over Samuel's 48, so still doing a good job on his own. However, we look up to the other lane, and Nyon C also ahead of Han Jaegers. They've just been winning out the fights for the side of Elite 8 and still somehow ahead in economy and ahead in that gold because of the objectives they're taken.
And one more issue that I'm seeing coming through from the side of Diva, it's not Neon C on that Castro. Your buzz generally would come from Glimmer into basic. So a lot of damage will come from those Glimmer shots once you run out of those Glimmer shots, right? Elite 8 still have got basic damage. The side, Official Hide at least, have got those Malices and Verdict as long as it stays in his Drifting Dark. Just those empowered Malices and Verdict will out-sustain the amount of damage coming through from you. So that's why Elite 8 generally just winning out in a lot of these team fights, although the side of Diva have got the gold lead, have got the farm lead as well.
Yeah, that's going to be the engagement coming out from Anime Save Me onto that Rhyme. Very aggressive. The Drifting Dark not fully utilized, however, as Spitfire's Winter Spire is still in place and they couldn't follow through with that one. They are just going to push the lane instead, rotate down to this Crystal Sentry, take it with ease, and then be on their merry way. And we can already see the gold mine almost full again. Could be a next objective to look for after this team fight, but with only another 21 seconds on the board before Kraken is up, I'm not too sure if they'll go for it in the end.
Yep, I don't think they will be going for it. One shot, one kill reveals where Nyon C is. A fight may break out.
Yep, there's going to be the engagement coming through once again off the back of the Impale, but this time onto Majin. Not sure if that's the right target, as you need to be worrying about the Rhyme in your faces, who's going to drop that Valkyrie down onto Samuel, picking up the kill for himself. And it looks like Majin in the end able to back out safely. So the advantage Elite 8 had was punished because it is more so into the late game. You can't just burst down those roamers as easily, and if you're going to focus on them in the fights, you're really not focusing the right targets, and that's poor targeting in general. And I think that in that situation they got a bit, I wouldn't say overconfident, but distracted by the fact Majin was so low.
And also maybe, just maybe itself, another fight may just break out. I may have to hold my point. Han Jaeger just building his breaking point stakes.
Yeah, Han Jaeger's being very aggressive there, does get caught out in the active camo trap in the end, gets stunned out, but will continue the farming, the wave, pushing it up for now. Anime Save Me jumping over that wall to not find anyone just yet. Spitfire, however, was down in the jungle shop, will back off and regroup with his team. Another one shot, one kill coming out. Neon C really not afraid to use those just to find out where the enemy is. They don't have much vision on the map, so I think it's also an important tactic to do that. But once again, Majin taking a fair bit of early fight damage. This time Elite 8 need to be careful not to get too close to that. The Crystal Sentry, they need to back off from this fight for now and find a better engagement for themselves. But there's 9C coming up on that Samuel with a Glimmer Shot's not really able to land too much damage, however, as Official Hunt's just able to back off to that lane. And now both teams looking for a possible engagement management here. Elite 8 could be thinking, well, they leave Divas waiting, could just decide to push for lane instead, as long as they're able to cancel the recalls coming out from the side of Divine Aurora, but they won't catch out Martian and Neon C. They will stop Martian as he decides to second guess himself, but Neon C making it back to that lane will be able to clear that wave that was about to push into the turret.
Yep, and what I was about to say, actually, ho.
Yep, we might have to hold on to that fort as Martian going to try to use the Echoed Gauntlet, but will get stunned out by Anime Save Me. Great job there on the Giffian wall. And not sure what Vox was doing right in front of Rhyme's face as he does get rooted and takes a lot of damage. Official Hein now going to take a lot from that Kestrel, and Divine Auroras could find the fight they're looking for. However, Martian now with no Gauntlet in a bit of a bad position, playing a bit too aggressively, and a bit of a misplay there by Anime Save Me. So a bit of misplay coming through by both teams, but more so from Elite 8. You can see the Giffian wall actually hitting Martian back away from the Oblivion, and now Divine Aurora, as they realize this is their chance to really take something out of this. Nancy taking down the Samuel, the rest of the team focusing on this Kraken. Anime Sabi going in for the steal, but he is too late in the end. Will probably fall to that of Divine Auroras as they chase him down, and there's going to be just another shot or two unless Anime Save Me finds their way into the base, but the Impale not going to make it, and it looks like they'll eventually die out to Spitfire. Eventually, one day, maybe. But
Maybe
we'll look
someday.
over to the Kraken that is pushing down these turrets instead, and you can see Nancy actually having a bit of a fight with Han Jaegers here, and we go back to the old man still on the chase, but not fast enough to catch up with that of Lance, who's just made his way away. There's the Valkyrie. The Vanguard, how long are they going to chase Anime Save Me down? I mean, it does keep him away from the rest of the team in defending their base from this Kraken, but the chase is real. This is the most delayed ace I have ever seen, if it's ever going to even come. There's the gauntlet used. Oh my lord, the ultimate bait. I think we have a word for this, but it looks like he is finally caught out, and I think he spent 3 minutes of the time. The whole time Kraken was up, getting chased down, and in a way, I think it worked out worse for Divine Aurora. They could have spent their time sieging the enemy base, might have got another turret out of it, but instead decide to spend so much resources and time on chasing down Anime Save Me.
Well, if they actually spent the resource and the time chasing down Official Han and Han Jaeger, that I understand, because, you know, they can take down Kraken relatively easy. But the issue with chasing down Anime Save Me means that you are not spending precious time, in-game time at least, to take down and push for more objectives. And for Vainglory being such an objectives-focused game, I personally do not think that was the smartest decision coming through from the side of Divas. But hey, it is what it is. They got the Kraken to push one turret down, and I guess they are, and they should be very happy with that. But what I was about to say earlier on, but maybe I'll have to hold whatever to say anyways.
Once again, and there's going to be the engagement coming out from the side of Elite 8. You can see Han Jaeger starting to build up these stacks, but the Gauntlet being used very defensively to keep Vox away and also make sure those stacks start to drop off. The Valkyrie used once again missing, however, and Han Jaeger is able to kite back that of the Rhyme kill credit going over to Official Hein as he puts a bit of poke of his own down in there, and Nyancy able to active camo out there will probably escape the fight without getting caught out. Martian will jump to them with the Vanguard and probably tanky enough at this point to escape, but there's going to be the Impale into the Giffian wall and will prove me wrong. They're just going to go for the Crystal Sentry now as there are no other objectives up for them to take. They could put a lot of pressure onto the lane now if they wanted to do so, but look at this. Guess who's back? It's the Kraken, because previously Anime Save Me bought so much time that the Kraken is back up. It's the master plan. He planned all of this out to get to this point. It's the biggest bait we've seen in Vainglory history, and they make the perfect rotation back to the Kraken. And if they win the game off this, I'm just going to have to title Anime Save Me the master baiting tactician.
Well, I'll not go to that extent as to it is all planned out. I don't think it was all planned out. I personally think Anime Save Me was trying his best to just run away from the clutches of Diva, and that is about it. Maybe trying to ruin Diva's day as to not, able to just push the Kraken down. So I don't think it has been planned to that extent, to that far at least. But even that, Spitfire and Neon Sea on those heroes can take Kraken down relatively easy and quickly as well. So unless Elite 8 would just go in for the final push and just try to put as much pressure as they can, actually, they can't even just end the game right now. I mean, Kraken is looking, at half health. I would consider that very, very healthy because of the amount of poke coming through from Official High.
Well, there's going to be the Gauntlet, the Echo Gauntlet coming through, but Vox not inside it, is just going to be dancing around where he pleases, and they've left Kraken to push down this turret, and there's going to be Elite 8 now focusing on it. They will back out off the back of this, however, they weren't able to pick up any kills, so the aggression will stop here, and it does give the side of Divine Aurora a chance to breathe, because we saw Divine Aurora's initial intentions to go for that Kraken when they had the opportunity was the right idea to do that, because so far we have seen most of the fights go in favor of Elite 8, and then Divine Aurora realized, well, this is the one fight that went in our favor, we'll take the opportunity and we'll go for the Kraken. So if given the opportunity again, I don't think Divine Auroras are going to be the team to miss it.
Yeah, but EA though, Anime Save Me in a very bad position right now. All three members of Elite 8 was there. They could have just easily jumped on him, but of course, they might just think that, Hunt Jaeger and Anime Save Me may just be around the corner, and they may just be right.
Yep, and there's going to be the engagement happening in this lane. Official Hein already out of the Drifting Dark, however, so this is the chance for Divine Auroras to go in, except the Gauntlet gets blocked out perfectly, so good job from the side of Elite 8. Looked like Anime Save Me did get caught up, but Official Hein, mainly being the target there, was able to get out. The Oblivion not going to land. Valkyrie does onto the Samuel, and he gets locked down instantly. A good Giffian wall into that, the turret, but Hun Jaegers cannot stick around with the Kestrel still there. The Glimmer shots coming through, going to be too much, and you can see Anime Save Me knows that Hun Jaegers is not getting out of that one alive, is going to try and make the back and will not be stopped. They don't check the bush, they don't go for the chase, and they allow him to back. Now, Divine Aurora is probably having to wait another 30 seconds or so until Kraken is back up, and then they'll have the opportunity in their hands again, or another 3 seconds it was more like, as Kraken now back on the fold. And it seems like after every team fight, the Kraken just comes around, hey, you needed me? And the teams start to go for it, and it's a very back and forth, but I did say Divine Aurora had a chance to make a comeback here.
Yep, I mean, gold-wise, it is completely even. I want to say it's completely even, but Neon Sea now finding Anime Save Me. I don't think you should focus your firepower onto Anime Save Me at all. I mean, he is a very, very, very crafty Lance and can just easily get away.
But not in this case. He will miss the Impale and he will be chased down. But look at that. He still somehow manages to stay alive a bit longer. The Glimmer Shot will find him in the end. The arrow to the back and putting his team in quite a bad position. We're 25 minutes in, and that's going to be 50 more seconds until Anime Save Me on that Lance is up to support his team.
I'm sure when Lance dies, when Lance, as in the hero, dies, he actually goes like weak in the knees, like he goes like that animation. So I think it was arrow to the knee. But now the side of Diva just looking to push into the base of Elite 8, and they will crack open a base. Kraken looking very, very healthy. And what can the side of Elite 8 do?
Well, there isn't too much they can do except try to burn down this Kraken the best they can, and that's what they're going to try to do here, except Vox getting caught up in all kinds of CC, and I'm surprised Spitfire didn't continue to chase down that Vox, instead lets him run free, and they're going to go for the objectives instead, realizing that Kraken's already low, Kestrel going down, and there goes the Crystal with it. So Divine Aurora's in the end. They were able to win it out, but Elite 8 looks surprisingly strong, and overall a fairly even game through and through.
Yeah, Divas have been a favorite for the casters so far, and I'm sure Mini Maita will be the happiest one amongst us three.
Yes, I think that he will be quite happy that Divine Auroras were able to win.